Distinguished leaders and lawmakers, my name is Sarko Gergerian. Thank you for allowing me to be here to speak in support of the upcoming ballot initiative related to psychedelics and psychedelic healing centers. I speak on my own behalf as a working police lieutenant and therapist, and as a speaker for the Law Enforcement Action Partnership, LEAP. LEAP is a nonprofit organization of police, prosecutors, judges, and other criminal justice professionals who speak from firsthand experience. Our mission is to make communities safer by focusing law enforcement resources on the greatest threats to public safety, working toward healing police-community relations, and addressing the root causes of crime. I have spent the good part of 15 years using police information to search for, find, and help people stay out of cages and coffins as a peace officer. I am a trained police peer on a critical incident stress team that supports our officers who carry the weight of the dark underbelly of our society on the backs of their shoulders. In these roles, with my unique educational and experiential background as a clinical mental health counselor who has used psychedelics in legally protected contexts and spaces, I can tell you that our civilians, our police officers, and all first responders need access to psychedelics for psychospiritual religious wellness, self-care, capacity building, resilience expansion, and the treatment of mental health challenges. Here's why I believe this to be the case. A police officer will be exposed to over 200 critical incidents in an average career. A critical incident is a trauma that can send someone's life sideways after only one exposure. Can you imagine a nervous system with over 200 of these traumas loaded within it? This is not the exception. This exposure rate is the rule. We then act surprised when the officer explodes in anger or puts the barrel of their gun in their mouth and blows their head off, flies off the handle interacting with a civilian, or loses control during an argument at home. I'm here to tell you the responsibility of helping to prevent this is on us. All of us, the departments, the Commonwealth, our lawmakers, our unions, and you can be sure that we know psychedelics can help. We die by suicide at a rate 2 to 3 times higher than our civilian counterparts. We die by suicide more frequently than attack on the street. We know psychedelics can help. We survive our careers with subclinical PTSD, depression, and anxiety, which leads to death 5 to 10 years after retirement. We're all fighting to get to retirement, to enjoy our pensions, and we die 5 to 10 years after we get out. This is 10 to 20 years before our civilian brothers and sisters. Psilocybin helps interrupt the patterned rumination so distinct to unshakable severe depression. Many of the psychedelics lift anxiety of all types, but imagine that they even help remove existential dread associated with death and dying itself. We know psychedelics can help. As a trained psychedelic-assisted therapist through the Multidisciplinary Association of Psychedelic Studies, I was afforded access to psychedelics through a federally sanctioned research protocol. Yes, I ingested psychedelics in a legally protected context and space. The protocol was approved for healthy normals, because I'm an example of what it means to be a healthy, normal person. That's a joke. We know psychedelics are safe when experiments on healthy, normal people are allowed by the federal government. Psychedelics are also recognized. They're recognized as sacred sacraments by the federal government, yet they remain on Schedule 1. We need to make sure we're clear on something. We are not in a psychedelic epidemic of overdose and death. What we are in is a medication-associated catastrophe of overdose and death. The plants, cacti, fungi, and animal secretions, the psychedelics, are not taking our beloveds. Pharmaceutical medications like fentanyl and methamphetamine are. Yes, the overdose death crisis taking over 100,000 of our brothers and sisters every year is directly, not indirectly, directly connected to medications, not psychedelics. And believe me, the psychedelics are available. A researcher indicated to me that in the UK, multiple hundreds of thousands of doses of psychedelics are used every weekend in nightclubs. They are here too. No one is dying from them. There has never been this type of catastrophic emergency associated with psychedelics, and you can be sure of the fact that there never will be. But we will grab one or two outlier situation and amplify it in the media to the point where there's hysteria about access for adults who need these things. I call on you to undo the confounding of the psychedelics with the medications that have known side effects of addiction, overdose, and death. Let's unravel and separate the two and give it the nuanced attention that it deserves, because our people need that. This keeps the psychedelics on the unscientific Schedule 1. I'm not the first person who indicated that. I might be the one who called it out so strongly, who you've heard from today. While keeping these things on Schedule 1 is doing nothing to keep our people safe from these medications that I'm talking about right now. But what it does do is it blocks access to the helpful psychedelics while allowing access to toxic, highly addictive medications that are killing our people. This is a tragedy of epic proportions. Here's what I experienced while working with psychedelics in a legally protected context and space. I woke up. I woke up to how much of my life is built through and influenced by transgenerational trauma. Trauma that didn't even occur to me directly. As a descendant of survivors of the Armenian genocide, which was perpetrated by the Ottoman Turks in 1915, it has become very clear how every aspect of my personal and professional life was influenced by the associated trauma in my psyche. The Ottoman Turks systematically eradicated 75% of the indigenous Armenians from their ancient lands through murder and rape. This event shaped every aspect of my life, up to and including growing up in Chelsea to immigrant parents as a first-generation American Armenian with Greek ancestry, wanting to protect and serve people as a police officer and clinical mental health counselor. I can tell you that the realizations that occurred in one day, would have taken a lifetime of therapy without the psychedelics' power to enhance the process. Psychedelics will finally help talking as a healing modality live up to its aspirational goal of being a talking cure. I was able to directly experience numinous love. This is stuff we read about in the scriptures. I didn't have to read it or hear about it from another person. I was able to directly experience it. Deep gratitude and multi-directional perspective for all the experiences, good and bad, that made me who I am today. This started releasing the grip genocide had on me, thereby positively impacting everybody else who was connected to me. I transcended the experiences and could see the narrative from an entirely different perspective. A perspective I didn't have access to without psychedelics. I no longer need to believe that psychedelics can help. I know psychedelics help, and I hope one day you will too. Thank you for the opportunity to testify in support of this important ballot initiative. I deeply appreciate it.
Thank you.